Namaste friends, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, the Samudra Manthan. The Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the ocean of milk, is a rich mythological allegory with deep spiritual significance, offering profound insights into the process of spiritual awakening. It illustrates how inner transformation can be achieved through the balanced interplay of positive and negative forces within the self. Let's revisit the symbolism and add new dimensions, particularly focusing on the role of the Vasuki Naga, the serpent, and its connection to birth and duality in spiritual development. Key symbolisms in Samudra Manthan. 1. Devas and Asuras, the positive and negative forces. The Devas, or gods, and Asuras, or demons, are symbolic of the positive and negative aspects of the self. The Devas embody virtues such as wisdom, purity, and enlightenment, while the Asuras represent ego, ignorance, and material desires. The spiritual journey requires the practitioner to balance these two forces within themselves, harmonizing the divine or spiritual and demonic or material qualities. The challenge lies in overcoming ignorance, which is represented by the Asuras, with wisdom, embodied by the Devas, a recurring theme throughout the myth. Mandara Mountain, or Sumeru Parvat, the spine. In yogic traditions, Mandara Mountain, also identified with Mount Meru or Sumeru Parvat, represents the spine, the central pillar of energy in the body. The Mandara Mountain, which stands as the anchor of the churning process, symbolizes concentration, stability, and focus. Just as the mountain supports the churning of the ocean, the spine provides the structural and energetic foundation necessary for the awakening of kundalini energy and the movement of consciousness along the Sushumna Nadi. The Vasuki Naga, the Serpent King, serves as the rope used by the Devas, gods, and Asuras, demons, to churn the ocean of milk. The Mandara Mountain, which serves as the churning rod, is placed in the center, and Vasuki is tied around it as the rope. The serpent Vasuki, used as the churning rope in the myth, represents the breath in yogic symbolism. The serpent's undulation mirrors the rhythmic movements of pranayama and kundalini awakening, which begin at the base of the spine and rise upward toward the crown of the head. The controlled motion of the serpent parallels the breathing exercises and meditative focus required for inner transformation. In the myth, Vasuki, the serpent, is used to churn the ocean, and his tail and head are pulled by the Devas and Asuras, respectively. This act has deeper spiritual meaning. The tail of Vasuki symbolizes inhalation, representing the beginning of life or the birth of a new cycle of energy. When the Devas hold the tail, they represent the positive energy, the creative forces that push the universe into action. The head of Vasuki symbolizes exhalation, representing death and the end of cycles. When the Asuras hold the head, they represent the destructive forces, those that bring dissolution and change. The act of the Devas and Asuras pulling on opposite ends of Vasuki, tail and head, symbolizes the balance between creation and destruction. In the yogic sense, this represents the dual energies within a person: prana, life force, and apana, elimination or release. The Devas holding the tail, filled with vitality, represent the uplifting energies, while the Asuras holding the head, weaker and drawn to the end, represent the destructive aspect. In the yogic context, the churning of the ocean with the Vasuki Naga represents the breath, prana. Inhalation, tail, brings in life force and energy, while exhalation, head, represents the release of negative energies and impurities. This balance between inhalation and exhalation is crucial for maintaining both physical and spiritual health, aligning with the practice of pranayama, breath control, in yoga. Kurma Avatar of Vishnu, withdrawal of the senses. In the myth, Vishnu's form as the Kurma, or tortoise, supports the Mandara Mountain to prevent it from sinking. This act is symbolic of Pratyahara, the withdrawal of the senses, a critical step in the yogic journey. Just as the tortoise withdraws its limbs to find stability, the practitioner must withdraw from external distractions, turning inward to focus deeply on the spiritual core. The ocean of milk, the mind and consciousness. The ocean of milk represents the mind or consciousness in the spiritual journey. Just as the ocean is vast and full of potential, the mind is full of unrefined thoughts, desires, and impurities. The churning process purifies the ocean, bringing forth valuable treasures while separating out the poison. Similarly, in yoga, the purification of the mind occurs through disciplined practice, which clears the mind of distractions and negative tendencies, revealing the ultimate truth and spiritual wisdom. Hala hala poison, pain and suffering. As the churning progresses, the first thing that emerges from the ocean is halahal, a deadly poison. This poison represents the suffering and pain that arises during intense spiritual practices. Spiritual transformation is often accompanied by emotional turmoil and physical challenges. Shiva's act of consuming the poison symbolizes the yogic wisdom of enduring and transcending these challenges without being harmed, as practitioners confront the suffering within to reach higher levels of consciousness. Amrita, the nectar of immortality. The Amrita, or nectar of immortality, is the ultimate treasure that emerges from the churning of the ocean. This nectar symbolizes self-realization and spiritual awakening, the realization of the ultimate truth. Amrita represents the state of perfect enlightenment, attained after overcoming the challenges of suffering, illusion, and ego. It is the goal of all spiritual practices, the culmination of the journey toward liberation. Mohini, the divine illusion. In the myth, Mohini, the divine enchantress, appears to distract the Asuras and ensures that the Devas obtain the Amrita. Mohini represents Maya, the illusion that obstructs spiritual progress. In the context of the spiritual journey, Maya manifests as attachment to worldly desires and distractions. To achieve enlightenment, the practitioner must discern the difference between the temporary illusion and the permanent truth. Rahu Ketu, the cosmic deceiver. Finally, Rahu Ketu, the demon who tries to steal the Amrita, symbolizes the ego that deceives the practitioner. When nearing spiritual attainment, the ego attempts to claim the self-realized truth. The decapitation of Rahu Ketu by Vishnu signifies the destruction of the ego, a necessary step for true enlightenment. The Samudra Manthan is a powerful allegory for the spiritual path. The churning of the ocean reflects the inner process of purifying the mind, confronting suffering, overcoming illusions, and achieving self-realization. The spine as Mandara Mountain and Vasuki as the churning rod symbolize the central role of the practitioner's body and mind in this process. Through this myth, we learn that spiritual growth requires confronting both the positive and negative aspects within ourselves. It is through purification, the churning, that we can finally reach the ultimate Amrita, the nectar of immortality, and the realization of truth. In this allegorical journey, the tail and head of Vasuki remind us of the constant pull between worldly attachments and spiritual aspirations. Only by balancing these forces can we progress on the path of enlightenment and reach the final goal of spiritual liberation. Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next interesting video. Namaste.